Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. Actually, the first of the year here, year 2025. I hope everyone had an incredible start of the year. And what better way to start up the year than to be chatting with the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the one and only Haylie. Haylie, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic coming out. As I was saying before, what better way to have an incredible start of the year than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of villains in my time.
I like it. I like it. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, helps a lot. But also, on the description below, you're going to find all of Haylie's social media. Let's follow her and let's find out why she's super badass. Now, without further more, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is what initially drew you to acting in the first place? Was there like a specific moment or performance that solidified your passion for it?
It was more like ever since I could pretty much talk and walk, I was putting on plays, I was putting on like mini musicals that I would make. There was an app called Video Star that you could make music videos, and then there was Video FX, you could make like little TV shows. So I just spent, being an only child, I spent 12 hours a day just making movies. And then, yeah, everyone I knew, like my whole family was like, why don't you pursue that? And it's just kind of something that in my blood, I guess. And then, yeah, it helped that I had High School Musical and Disney Channel that just solidified my need to be in that industry.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I like it. And tell me, once you decided that this was going to be your passion, time passed and everything. So tell me, what were some of those first challenges that you were encounter as you were starting to build your career into a more pro one, let's say?
Yeah, well, it's always the kind of like what now? Like, yeah, you can take the acting classes, you can take the musical theater, but to actually be in the industry, like they always say, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So then it's like, okay, how do I build those connections? How do I do this? How do I get myself an agent? And I did it through a very unconventional way. There was one of those like Instagram pop-up ads that was, oh, become a Disney Channel star. And I was 12 at the time. So of course I saw that and, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm going to do that. So I signed up for this acting school, ended up doing a year of online courses with them. They brought us out to Florida at the end of that year, where I just met with a bunch of agents around the world and got one that way. So that was like the first challenge, was just get that agent, which eventually down the road of auditioning, my agent ended up leaving the industry. So then again, I was left with no agent and still hadn't booked anything at that point. So I had no connections, I had no following, and it was a challenging time, but managed to get through it.
Totally. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? Whenever you're starting out, you will face up these challenges. But I think it's part of the whole experience to kind of get yourself to understand more of it, and at the same time, start to learn how the whole machine works. Let's say, right?
Yeah, and especially when you're trying so hard as a kid and all you're hearing is just no, 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 and so many doors are just getting slammed in your face. It's discouraging for like a young girl who just wants to be like on Disney Channel, wants to be in theaters, like on TV, and then everyone's saying, like every industry professional I talked to, they were like, "Oh, that's normal. You're gonna hear thousands of no's," but you kind of hope that like, "Oh, maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm gonna hear like all the yeses," and that's never the case.
Totally. Totally. I like it. And, focusing a little bit more on your acting career, tell me, as an actor, you often have to, inhabit the lives of various characters. So, how do you approach stepping into a new role? And what are some of the techniques that you use to make the character, to be authentic as possible?
Yeah, there's it honestly depends on the type of genre of character. There was one like hack that an acting teacher taught me years ago. I was probably like 15. Terribly shy kid. Like I hated public speaking, I hated talking to strangers, I hated leaving my house. And the way I look, I happen to go for all the mean girl roles most of the time. So in order to be the mean girl, you got to be confident, you got to be like put yourself out there, be that like radiant energy. So me with my crippling shyness, I went to a coaching before this big audition I had, and I was like trying to do the lines, and then the acting coach, she was like, you know what? Put the lines down. We're gonna go out into the studio where like everybody's waiting because it's also an audition studio. And she said, you're gonna put your hands on your hips, like Wonder Woman pose. And she made me walk around that studio for 10 minutes straight, just saying, I'm the shit. I'm that bitch. I'm gonna win. I'm the shit. And when you're that shy, like it's terrifying and it's going out of your comfort zone, but it helps you to embody that character and like feel that energy. And then after that, we got into the script, we performed it. But for like the nicer characters, I find it's all not only the way you kind of look, because there's a difference between the siren eyes for the main character, like looking through your brows and like death stare, or the doe eyes of like looking up and looking meek. So for the nice character, it helps to watch more like softer TV shows and mimic those body languages and look at the other actors and see what they're doing. And also to just place yourself in the scenario of the scene, being like, okay, I'm talking to my sister in this scene and I'm supposed to be really sad. Well, me, Haylie, I don't have a sister, so I can imagine, like, let's say I'm talking to my mom instead, and then I play the scene as if I was just actually having that conversation with my mom.
Mhm. Totally. I mean, it's all about taking parts of your life, right, to and experiences in order to start to
Hmm.
shape up the whole form of it. I like it. And tell me how you usually break character. Do you have, I don't know, like a specific ritual, or like what is your thing here whenever you are done playing your character so you can be move on with your life?
Yeah, there's always like this scenario that we do. A lot of intimacy coordinators do it where you could do like a clap or a high five before you start the scene to get into character. You do the scene, and then to break out of that character, you do the same clap, you do the same high five to sort of end that. So if you're playing like this emotionally like dark character, you're sobbing all the time, you do this a certain thing. It could be a jump, it could be a clap, it could be like a sip of water. You do the scene, you get through it, you feel those emotions, and then you do that exact same ritual after to break yourself out of it. Because otherwise, it can be really emotionally taxing. And that's why also I work out a lot. Like I lift weights, I eat fairly clean. So every day before I go to set, I like to go to the gym. I lift a lot of weights. I get the energy out, I feel good, and then head to set.
There you go. I love it. Acting, hit the weights. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm starting to discover more why you're super badass here. I'm getting it now. I'm getting the whole flow of it. I like it. I like it. And tell me, on the whole flip side, what has been the most bizarre or even unexpected thing that ever happened to you either on stage or on set?
Ooh. There is a really cool thing that happened on my most recent movie, but because it's in post-production right now, I can't really talk about it. But it will be in theaters in about a year. So there's lots of stuff that I want to talk about with that one day. But I think the weirdest thing that's happened to me so far was I just did Heretic just came out. That's in theaters right now with Sophie Thatcher, Chloe East, and Hugh Grant. So during the costume fitting for that, like last year, I knew Hugh Grant was in the movie, but I just thought like, oh, he's probably still in LA right now. We're still a few weeks out of filming. I go to this costume fitting. It's my first costume fitting I've ever done. I'm walking around this big warehouse trying on clothes. And then I go to leave, so I'm like flustered because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like it's gonna be a big movie. It's going on Amazon Prime. Like it's huge. I'm walking really fast around the corner and I run into this man and I'm still like trying to break out of that shyness. So I just go like, oh sorry, and I go to walk away. And then I hear a very specific British accent that's like, oh, like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I turn around and I'm like, oh, okay, there's only one British guy on this movie. And I turn around and it was Hugh Grant, of course, and me being a nobody, just like running into him and not even like making eye contact to apologize. It was just, oh, I just wanted to like curl up into a ball and I was like so embarrassed, but he was totally cool with it. And then I was just like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. And then I left and few weeks later, we're on set and it was all fine.
Yeah, I like it. Cool story. I mean, we all have those moments in which I think it's life. Sometimes, um, yeah, we're clumsy somehow, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the excitement of being in the industry for the first time and for real was just too much, and I got distracted.
Totally, totally. I like it. And tell me, acting can be emotionally demanding. So, how do you maintain a balance between fully immersing yourself and at the same time taking care of your mental and emotional well-being?
Yeah, so like I said, the weightlifting really helps. That's kind of it's my outlet, and usually I love to work out every morning. Sometimes my call time is 7 a.m., so that doesn't always allow for it. So on my most recent project, actually, like me and the crew and some of the other actors, we set a challenge. Every time that the director yells cut, we have to do 10 jump squats, no matter how many times the director yells cut. It's 10 jump squats just to keep the energy up, especially because I was playing two characters in that one show. One was super emotional, one was like sobbing, I was getting like hurt a lot, and then the other one was like this mean kind of bitchy character. So that on your mental state is very taxing. So definitely the getting the energy out helps, the shaking it out. I also like I was doing this thing on set where I always hold like a hot beverage, and it's kind of like a grounding technique because it's a sensory thing for my hands, it's a sensory thing for taste. If it's like a flavored thing, it's also smell. So just kind of being aware of your surroundings and bringing yourself back into your body and reminding yourself like, okay, I'm the actor, I'm not this character. And then as soon as the scene starts, you put it all down. You're like, okay, now I'm this character. Time to fully embody that.
Mm. I mean, how amazing it is, right? Whenever you can get the chance. I mean, like the whole acting thing, I find it really interesting and amazing. The fact that you're able to portray someone totally different as a real you, and to be
Mm.
playing in a specific scene or in a specific role that you are never going to experience, like for example, being superhero or being, I don't know, a political figure or being I don't know, the sky's the limit, basically, right? So I
Oh
find that
yeah.
pretty cool. This whole, um, this whole connection you like we the audience get to experience whenever we are watching it, either on theater or TV show, theater, whatever. But whenever we can create like this connection, and to
Hmm.
actually care about the character we are watching, that even though that we know it's not that is not real, that what we're watching is fiction, but still hit us, and I mean it's still
Yeah.
like let us feel real emotions, and I find that really cool because at the same time I think it teaches how important entertainment we need it somehow, because it can actually get in connection with our emotions. You know what I mean?
Mhm. It can like show us almost like mirror back to parts of us that we're hiding or parts of us that we wish we could express, but now we're seeing it in a character. And it's like, okay, maybe I can do that. And yeah.
Totally, totally. So I found it pretty cool. Anyway,
Mhm.
that was like my random thought here. But anyway,
Yeah.
and tell me if you could play any historical figure, fictional character, or what? Let's go crazy. Even an animal. Why not? What like who or what would it be and why?
I have to say Harley Quinn, just because I've been compared to Margot Robbie so many times, and I love just like the craziness of Harley Quinn, how she started as, oh, she's professional, she's very unassuming, and then when it gets the whole like Joker of it all, she's crazy, her hair's all up, she's badass, she has weapons, like she's not hiding behind a guy or hiding behind the scenes, she's like out there, she's like, this is me, she's doing the stunts, she's jumping, going crazy, like as my dream role of all time is just to play the crazy, like awesome girl type of thing.
No, I mean, who knows, right? Sky's the limit. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that every now and then we can get the chance to start watching roles, female roles that are that have like this attitude of badass, that they actually are able to to sustain like the whole film or the whole TV show to it, due to the way they are portraying the character. You know what I mean here? So
Oh yeah, and like I love the trope of hero turned into villain. I just find that so powerful. Like you can be the hero, try that for a bit, but then the world just kind of beats you down enough that you just go crazy, you take off. I think that makes for very good entertainment and movies and
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And as an actor, you often have to work closely with directors and even fellow cast members. So, can you share an experience where collaboration led to unexpected creative breakthroughs or even insights?
yeah, there was one scene in Mafia's Tender Torture. It's a web series I did and it's like really blown up my Instagram. It's made a name for me off of this one web series. But in the script it says like I'm having a fight with like my lover in the series, Raymond, and we're in the foyer of the house, but yet the script says I'm mad at him, so I grab like a fruit knife off the counter and like threaten myself with it to my throat. And like talking to the director, he's an amazing director, his name's Dom, and he was like, you know what, like that seems really just predictable, it's kind of cringy, it's been done before. So we're discussing like how else could we play out the scene, because also we're in the foyer, there wouldn't be a fruit knife just sitting there. So then we played it out as like he goes to kiss me and I act like I'm into it, and then I reach behind him and I pull his gun out of like the back of his belt loop, and then I hold that to my face. And that ended up looking super cool, and it was completely unexpected that we'd do that, but it was just the director being open to the actor's interpretation of the scene and the actor like kind of bouncing ideas off of people, and then we got the camera crew to kind of give their input and being like, okay, how could you film this shot to make it noticeable that I'm like reaching around him and grabbing the gun.
Mm,
So it was a really cool scene.
totally. And I find it cool whenever like the director is open to it, to have like
Mhm.
this creative roundtable, let's say, in order
Oh
to
yeah.
play in a specific scene. And I think, I mean, I would assume, right, that as an actor, you feel like more comfortable if you can get the chance to say something about it that expose an idea that might help, and to be able to take into consideration. I mean, I would assume that it feels the whole ambience of the whole thing like more relaxed and more calm somehow, right?
Yeah, to really give your input and like especially the show I most recently did. It's another web series, and yeah, the director Leo Max, amazing director. He was open to everybody's ideas, like from the costume designers, props department, actors, camera crew, whatever we'd say. Like, oh, what if like in this scene instead of saying this line this way and walking out, what if we said this instead or added this to the end of it? And he was like, you know what? Sure, let's run it, see how it works. Like they also did that on the horror movie I did. I like giant big LA production, right? And I'm just this little Canadian girl, but I was like, hey, like, what if for this scene I could do this at the end of it, and then we run off the camera that way? And the director was like, you know what? We're gonna film it as the script says first, and then at the end we'll do a special cut just for Haylie. You'll do that, and whatever the editors like most, whatever the production company likes most, they'll keep. So it was like, okay, cool.
There you go. I like it. And is there like any director you would love to work with at any point in your career?
Ooh, I think I'm just gonna let that kind of happen as it unfolds because every director is different. Every director has their points of views, and then there's still a bunch of directors that haven't even made a name for themselves yet, but maybe in 5 years, even 1 year, they'll be huge, and that would be a great opportunity as well.
Yeah. Do you see yourself at some point become a director?
I would love to direct a few episodes of like a series I'm in. I know a lot of actors do that, like in The Hundred and Supernatural and Vampire Diaries. Like some of the lead actors will take an episode and be like, okay, this is my episode. I'm going to direct it as well as act in it. So I think that would be a really cool opportunity.
Hmm.
But I'm
And
definitely
yeah,
acting field.
yeah. I mean, we'll have to start somewhere, and I think it's also
Oh, yeah.
cool. And I find it amazing the whole, that with entertainment you can get the chance not also to become only an actor, you can become a writer, director, producer. So it's cool that at the same time you can get the opportunity to it. And who knows, maybe at some point you will perhaps it will be something you find it interesting, or which is totally understandable, you want to only focus on your acting, which happens at the same time. And I think at the end it's your path, and what's important is for you to enjoy it, right? So
Oh yeah, for sure. And just pursuing like the different aspects of the entertainment industry because
totally.
nothing is very solidified. It's all very fluid. You can move from like acting to singing to producing to writing, and it's just a great energy to be in.
Hmm. And actors often have to adapt to different genres or even styles of performance. So is there a particular genre or style that you haven't explored yet, but you would love to try anytime in the near future?
Ooh, I have to go with like I grew up being obsessed with Vampire Diaries and The Hundred and like the dystopian kind of futuristic. So if I could do something like The Maze Runner, where it's dystopian action but also romance at the same time, that's like
Mm,
my dream kind of. If it's a series, if it's a movie, like whatever it is, even like the whole CW genre of like Riverdale, The Hundred, it's very just grounded and real and gritty. I love that. I've done my
okay.
fair share of horror, done my fair share of like soap opera style dramas, and I think I'm ready for just like a gritty, grounded one.
Hmm, I like it. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. I'll take it. And tell me, what do you think the 12-year-old version of yourself would think about you right now?
I think she would be really proud of me just because 12-year-old me like had so many dreams and just no idea how to execute it. And the fact that like even me a year ago today was like nowhere where I am today. I had no credits, I hadn't booked anything. And now all of a sudden to have like a be in theaters, to be all over like TikTok and YouTube with the web series going on, and I'm getting like major auditions coming in just from the connections I've made on other projects, and it's a very great place to be. So I think not only a year ago me, but also kid me would just be in awe of what I've been able to accomplish.
Totally.
But I'm aware I still have so much more that I have to do and so much more that I want to do. So to me, this is like the year of level one. Like this is my starting out point right now.
And I think that's the whole beauty about life, that whenever you are persistent to your dream, to your passion, who knows, right? I mean, one year you can have nothing, and then the next one, or like on your case, we'll start to book things like that and everything, and it's all part of the process, right? Like some months ago, I hear this phrase, which was like every overnight success you hear took them 10 years.
Oh yeah, for
You know what I mean?
sure. I mean, I've been auditioning since I was 13 and didn't book anything until I was 18. So, but then everybody was like, "Oh, you booked your first audition back in the industry," because I'd quit for a few years because I was like, "Wow, I'm not booking anything. Must not be my path." And then when I got back into it, I booked the very first thing I auditioned for. So people just assume like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're just booking so much. Oh, it's because your looks. You're just booking." But it's like, no, I've been working at this since I was 13. I've poured so much like money into this, so much energy into this, and I'm
Mhm.
finally just being able to show what I've worked for.
Totally. And that's why you're badass. I'm liking it. I'm liking this. And now that you mentioned that that you quit for a little bit, like what made you quit? And also, what made you wanted to go back? Because it happens, right? That
Yeah.
for all of us, sometimes we want to kind of take a break from our dreams, or we think that perhaps that maybe we're not worthy, but somewhere along the line something happens and then we get back. So how was that on your case, let's say?
Well, yeah, so like I got an agent in Florida. They were a Vancouver agent, so when I came home, like, I had them and just audition after audition. I'd get the occasional call back, but then never hear back. So 3 years of that, and then I got like sick mentally and physically. COVID happened, the pandemic shut down, the strike. So I was like, you know what? Like everything's working against me for this. I must just not be meant for acting. I thought I was, like it's what I've always wanted to do, but the universe is obviously showing me that it's not my path. So I quit for grade 11 and 12. And then as soon as I graduated, I was heading into university and I just kind of made up my mind like, you know what? I'm going to get a psychology degree. I'll become a therapist. Like, I guess that's just what I'll do. It's a smart path. And then that summer, I was really thinking, and I was like, no, like everything in my soul wants to be an actor. I want to be in the entertainment industry. I shouldn't let like all these obstacles stop me. So I got right back online, like submitted myself to every agency in Vancouver again, and just like would love to work with you, blah blah blah. Like got the headshots done, and yeah, got an agent out of just luck. I got this amazing agent who's got amazing connections. She's submitting me for everything, and yeah, my first audition right off the bat was Heretic. I booked it, and then that solidified me as like, okay, that was my sign that I was meant to get back into this, and it's all gonna work out.
Totally. I like it. It's so interesting whenever, I mean, when you can get, well, yeah, when you can get the chance to kind of stop sometimes, sometimes life will be throwing you signs at you for you to either change, change the path here, or continue on this path you're creating. I think I find it pretty like super interesting that how life sometimes will be telling us between the lines like, hey, change path or continue this one. But it's up to us to
Mhm.
kind of to actually see them and not let yourself focus, or yeah, or not, yeah, like letting yourself go on other thing that maybe will not be meant for you. And you can totally tell that even though might be working, you're still feeling something about it that just doesn't click at all. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you feel it in your soul when you're meant to be somewhere or not. Like I did university, I got through a year and a half of it, and like it's a great school, but every day that I was there, I just felt so dark and I spiraled into like this terrible depression, and I could tell I wasn't meant to be there. Like everything in my soul, everything in my body was like screaming at me to get out. Like you're not supposed to be there. And then yeah, as soon as I get on set, I'm just at peace. I feel like okay, this is my world. These are my people. Like everybody in the entertainment industry is so kind and we just get along so well. But then when I talk to people in the academic world, it was a lot different and I just couldn't match their energy. I couldn't get along with them. So I was left like going through university with no friends, like no connections. And I was like, this is awful. I need to get back into being on set, back in front of the camera, back into that pure energy that just makes me feel good.
Totally. And here we are right now. So
Yeah.
you know, epic, epic. And let's lighting things up like a bit here now. If you were stranded on a desert island and could only bring three movies to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Ooh. Do TV series count? Like if it's a
Yeah,
box DVD set of a TV
let's put it.
series?
Sure.
Okay. I have to say there's this TV series that I grew up with and I really shouldn't have been watching it at the age I was at, but it's called My Name is Earl. And it was
Hmm.
like favorite. I'd watch that like finish the whole series and just restart it as a kid all throughout my childhood. That was my favorite show. So definitely that one. Back to the Future #1 is one of my all-time favorites. And then probably High School Musical, just because that's what got me into wanting to be like an actor, wanting to pursue singing and all that. So those would be like my comfort movies.
Okay. Okay. Which one of the High School Musical?
Ooh, probably number one. Just because it's the fresh, it's pure. You got like the snowboarding scene at the beginning that's really cute, and then it starts off the trajectory of everything.
Hmm. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. And if you could create a dream ensemble cast for a movie, who would it be in it, and what kind of movie we're talking about?
Ooh. I would love to do like one with magic, kinda. So if I were to take like some of the Supernatural cast, some of the Vampire Diaries cast, and like some of the 100 cast, and just make like a group of those powerful leads, and then do something with magic where it's like the vampire werewolf kind of genre. That's it was big and now it's no longer a thing. So we bring that back and then just have all like the CW kind of lead actors on there. That would be really cool.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So we're talking into a this huge production, basically.
Hmm.
I'll take it.
Very like action, lots of fighting scenes. I love doing stunt scenes and fighting scenes, and yeah.
Okay, I like it. And if your life was turned into a movie, tell me which actor would you want to play you and why?
I think I would want myself to play me just because it's my life. I know how to best interpret it. I know what I was feeling in each moment. So I think if I was able to kind of just show a movie about my life from my perspective with me playing myself, that would be a really cool opportunity to just be like, ta-da, here I am, here's my story.
And what do you think that would be the title of that film? You know,
Ooh, there's so many different chapters of my life. Maybe like day one or one day type of thing.
Day
Just
One.
because you always, yeah, like one day, or is it day one or is it one day? Like the saying where you can make today day one to the rest of your life, or keep saying, oh, one day I'll do that.
Okay. And how will we rate it? We rate it rated R, PG-13. Like, what do you think that would be the
Um,
perfect rating?
Probably like a PG-13, because my life's been pretty just like light and nothing too dangerous, nothing too scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. And acting often involves a lot of, vulnerability and like putting yourself out there, right? So, how do you handle criticism and at the same time rejection in such a competitive industry?
Not well. Um, I've I've gotten a lot better at it. I used to just like everything someone would say about me, like no matter what it was, I would take it so much to heart and I'd be so sensitive about it. But now I've gotten to the point where it's like the only opinion about me that matters is myself. Like if I'm making myself proud, if I'm making myself happy, that's all that matters. Like if this person doesn't like me, okay, that's their problem. Like I'm just not their flavor, you know? And just stick to my path. This is what I want to do. Am I happy with myself? Okay, cool. If I'm not happy with myself, then it's like, okay, what can I change? So, as long
Hmm.
as I'm content with myself, I just got to make sure to block out all the other distractions because that's what they are. Everybody else's opinion is just a distraction. It's not real. It's not your life. It's not your universe. Just focus on your reality and then what you want your reality to be and cancel everything else out.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also important to know where those critics come from. If they come from a place of love, then sure, pay attention
Yeah.
to it. Perhaps there's something there that you could consider, in order to improve yourself. But whenever it comes one of those one of those comments in which I mean, you could totally tell that doesn't come from a place of love. What even like paying your attention to it. I had like this idea for some time now that just pay attention on those who that they actually support you, and
Mm.
those who don't support you, fine. That's just the way it is. You can't please everybody, sure. But don't let yourself getting affected due to somebody thinking that you are bad or that you somehow should not be doing whatever you're doing, things like that, because it's just life. And there's some dicks out there, sure. People can be rude sometimes, and you just need to find that niche in which you feel good and just stay there with the people who actually appreciate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like sometimes you do need to burn bridges, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people are only meant to be in your life for a certain chapter and then let them go. And there's a really popular like saying that me and my family hold to is like anything that someone else will judge you about is just a secret insecurity on themselves. So people have a tendency to only point out the stuff that they don't like about another person if that's something that deeply affects them, that they feel like they exhibit that they don't like.
Mhm. I like it. I like it. So the message would be stop bitching and go after what you want in life.
Yeah, just to mind your own business, and
There you go.
someone else's path is not your problem.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Now, if you could, let's say yeah, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, here's the thing: zero experience, nothing. So, based on what you know, like, where do you think it would be? Yeah, like, what advice would you give me? Or for someone who doesn't know anything about acting, wants to jump into this career.
Mhm. I think it's all about stepping outside of your comfort zone. And like I said, there's no comfort in growth and there's no growth in comfort. So if you're too scared of looking crazy or looking weird, then you're not going to make it, because acting is inherently weird. Actors are weird people, and you just got to accept that. Like, I've done scenes where I'm soaked head to toe in blood and just like sobbing and screaming in front of a crew of just like dead silent people, and you feel like you're going crazy and you're worried what they might think, but it's like, no, that's what acting is. And also, like, the main thing that I've applied to really kind of propel my career is not focusing on the now. It's creating that future image of yourself and, like, oh, this is what I want to be in a year from now, and just make that the only vision. Like, visualize it as much as you can and don't accept any reality around you that tells you otherwise. So if I want to say, like, oh, in a year from now I want to be on a Netflix show. Okay, well, my reality right now is not showing me that, but that doesn't matter. I need to only focus, like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. End of story. That's what I'm going to create. And the universe will provide that for you because that's what you're telling it. It's the law of attraction, it's the law of abundance. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll tell you what. If I ever become an actor, I'll be mentioning you on my memoirs for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I like it. And tell me, like, what motivates you? We all have those days that we just want to quit. It's inevitable. Happens to all of us. So how you stay focused on a day that perhaps you're not doing so well. Let's say.
Ooh, that does happen a lot. There are a lot of dark days. I find, like, if I'm in between jobs and I get really kind of low energy. And I think just having a vision board always helps. Like, I have one in my room where I've literally photoshopped images like a crazy person of myself on talk shows like Jimmy Fallon, or like Photoshop myself on stage in front of people, Photoshop myself standing in front of a Netflix red carpet. And you just stare at that for a while, help yourself visualize it. You could put in some good music and just be like, nope, this is my career path. This is what I chose. I've By choosing this path, I've taken on these challenges and these inevitable dark days that everybody has, and it's just part of the industry, is being unemployed for a lot of the time, or getting no's constantly thrown at you, doors slammed in your face, and you just got to accept, like, that just means I'm working towards being a better actor. That just means I'm truly in the industry, because that's part of it, is being dark most of the time.
I mean, those we know we all have those moments, and I think it's
Mhm.
understandable for you to have them. And at the same time, if you have them, sure, feel bad for a while. It's okay, but make sure that you get out of it as soon as possible so you can continue on your path. We're not machines, and it's understandable that sometimes we need break. Like, we need a break, we need some time off, and our body might be expressing it in a different way, or our heads might be expressing it different. So, I mean, I have discovered that whenever I have like those thoughts on me, I would just be like, okay, this is one of those days in which I'm just gonna have a day off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's accepting that it's one of those days and we're only human, and that's part of the human experience too, is being able to experience the low lows so that when the highs do come, they're even that much better, because it's like, wow, I've been as dark as I have been and I've felt like how good it can feel. And that's the divine balance of it all.
there you go. I like it. And my last question here, so we can all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So here we goes. What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Ooh. I do like the quote, there's no comfort in growth and there's no growth in comfort. Because that's just, it shows if you want to make it, you can't let yourself be comfortable. It's about putting yourself out there, looking crazy. And the only thing that's embarrassing about it is just how you perceive it. And if you're not, one day it's embarrassing, but the next day it's how you win. So it's only embarrassing until it works.
Okay, so the title would be that phrase.
There's no comfort in growth and there's no growth in comfort.
Boom. I like it. Sounds like a franchise already, like a trilogy.
That's the quote that I've always kind of told myself whenever I have to go on stage or go in front of a lot of people and do like a really weird scene. And I'm like, oh, I don't, that's going to be so weird. Like, it's so cringy. But it's like, you know what? There's no comfort in growth. And I'm not comfortable right now, which means I'm going to grow. So,
I like it. I
character
mean,
development.
and you're making it happen. You
Yeah.
know, and at the end, what can I say? The fact that you're pursuing it, that you're making it happen. I mean, that is super incredible. I now discover why you're super badass. Because it's not easy. It's not easy, of course, and like especially when you are pursuing something outside the box. Let's say, it's challenging for sure, and it can take you to moments in which you feel that you maybe are not worthy to it. But the fact that you're doing it, the fact that you're making it happen. I mean, besides creating cool stuff, I'm sure there's people out there who sees you as a role model and as someone who is making things happen. And I think that is super inspirational, especially now in this crazy day and age that we are living at this point.
Oh,
So
yeah. And
totally.
yeah, it's called the industry of waiting, but at the same time, you can't just wait around. If you want something, you have to go get it. You can't wait for someone else to give it to you. You can't wait for the right time to arrive. If this is what you want, go get it. Get it outside, go get it. Call up those numbers, follow those people on Instagram, flood their DMs asking for an opportunity, flood those email inboxes asking for an agent to like meet with you. And if you want it, you got to be able to get it for yourself.
I'm just gonna drop the mic because you're killing it here. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. It's true, and it's. I mean, as I said this a few times here, I mean, it's part of life. If you have a passion for it, go try it. We're not gonna be for yeah, we're not gonna be forever in this world. We will be here only for a while. So use that time to pursue something you're passionate about. And who knows, maybe along the way you discover that perhaps that was not your passion, but hey, that's fine. I mean, I think that is also the beauty of it, that we can get the chance to choose whatever we want, and it's okay for you to try. And if somehow you didn't succeed or perhaps you didn't like it, you can choose something different, and that's just the way it is. But of course, after you can dream about everything, but you need to put some work on it. So
Exactly. Like right now, I'm thinking about pursuing singing alongside of acting just because the acting industry can hit some slow points. So, might as well try to do some singing on the side of that and see how far that can take me. And if I enjoy it, great, I'll keep going with it. If I try it, I don't like it, okay, I'll go back to just pursuing acting fully.
totally. And I think whenever you are pursuing pursuing a career here, and you're encountering those challenges and everything, I sometimes believe that those challenges are like a test to it, to kind of test you, to see if you're actually okay with it, or more like if you are actually gonna be able to hold, you know. And the
Oh,
more you
yeah, for
hold,
sure.
the more things will come, but at the same time, more challenges will appear to kind of test you to see how well prepared you are, or perhaps you don't like it at some point and be like, you know what, I might switch to something totally different here. Who knows? So.
Yeah, it's all a big game. Life's just a big game that we have 100 or something years to complete, and you're supposed to find the fun in every challenge.
There you go. I'm loving it. So at the end, what can I say here? It's incredible what you do. Keep doing it. Yeah, keep shining out there. Keep rocking. I also want to thank those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But also, in the description, you're going to find all of Haylie's social media. Now, because we discovered why she's super badass, let's share some love. But at the same time, let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Haylie. And again, thank you for making this happen. Have an incredible upcoming weekend. Keep shining out there. Keep rocking. Keep kicking ass. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right.